Master Grade Gundam Kyrios. Hey, how's it going? In today's video we have the Master Grade GN-003 Gundam Kyrios from Bandai. Released in May of 2020, this Gundam first appears in the anime series Gundam 00, being part of a 4-man team including the Exia, Dynamis, and Virtue, with the Kyrios being the third member of the team to receive a Master Grade treatment. Also during the time of this video, I did get my hands on the Master Grade Virtue, so you can expect a review coming in the future. Back to the Kyrios. The Kyrios, as well as the Virtue, are the only mobile suits part of the team that actually have a second form. But in the Kyrios' case, he actually transforms into it. Piloted by Alleluia Haptism, or Hallelujah Haptism, depending on where the hair lands I guess, the Kyrios is capable of transforming to a flight form that kind of looks like a jet in space. Or in the air, whatever. And this form is able to do some high-speed maneuvers, I guess to better support the team. And I gotta say, it looks pretty sharp. But we'll take a look at that in depth later on in the review. That being said, let's start the review. Beginning with the box. Very cool looking box art with an epic space battle in the background. And if you believe the box teases future upcoming Master Grade kits, we have the Virtue right here shooting its gun, and guess what came out after? The Virtue! On the side of the box we got a static image of the model kit itself, fully painted, as well as the flight form. We also got some images highlighting the mobility of this kit, and since the Kyrios can transform, we're probably going to have some interesting articulation. Coming around the other side of the box, we have some images here showing the cool extras and weapons that come along with this kit. And it's always a bonus having a bunch of weapons, not going to complain. And with that done, let's take a look at the kit itself. And here it is! I built this kit in 2020, straight build, panel lined, fully decaled up, and it looks amazing. Besides the fins on its knees, it kinda look weird. However, I know it's for the alternate form, so I'll let it slide. Also, you might have noticed, there's a lot of stuff on this kit. There's many weapons, and a variety of loadouts you can equip it. Lots of extras, always a plus. We'll take a look at that later on as well. But for now, let's strip it down, bare bones and all. And once everything's removed, we have this. A very slender, aerodynamic looking machine. Actually, I take that back, it doesn't really look that aerodynamic, especially that back portion. I know there was no way they could really hide the nose cone, but it kinda looks really awkward protruding like that. But hey, it's supposed to be able to transform into a jet, so I give it a pass. And like the other members of his team, it's very sharp and angular. There's a decent amount of surface level detail, great for panel lining, and the stickers are pretty good breaking up all that white and orange. And speaking of stickers, I practically used all of it, whatever the manual told me. Not a lot, not a little, just the right amount, and they were very easy to apply. Also, I didn't run into any of the stickers peeling off, so that's good. Anyways, back to the kit. The sticker decals definitely give it some extra flair. In addition, there's a moderate amount of surface level detail, as well as panel lining opportunities you can definitely put on this kit. I also love the color palette that they used for this kit. The orange pops out really well, and they didn't use a lot of it where it overwhelmed the kit. There's also a good amount of colored part separation, and the colors contrast really well with each other. In addition, like the previous GN Gundams, this kit comes with cleared pieces for the GN cabling, as well as some clear green pieces on the side of the elbows. Overall, the Master Grade Kyrios is a good looking kit. It's funny because in the anime, I never really cared for the Kyrios. I never thought it stood out enough, even though it transforms, I just overlooked it. However, after building this kit, I have a newfound love for it. And now it sits as my second favorite Gundam from the series, right after the Dynamis. But it's also a transforming kit, and usually transforming kits do have their issues, commonly involving articulation. So let's take a look and see if the Kyrios suffers from any of this. For head articulation, it is able to move side to side, up and down head tilt. The base of the neck has a hinge that allows the neck to extend, similar to that of the Dynamis, giving it really good range of motion. The fin on its head is able to move up and down, and the head is able to perform a 360 without issues. There are two fins that are located on the side of its clavicle, which are able to move up and down. For torso articulation, the vents on the side of his chest are able to internally and externally rotate. These panels on the front of his chest can open, and this is where you can see the GN drive lighting up through the clear green piece, but I don't have batteries for it. Additionally, since it is a Master Grade, the cockpit can open, revealing the pilot figure. I know it's hard to see, but he's in there. For the rest of the torso articulation, I'm just going to move the hands up. Though because of the back skirts, it cannot perform a 360, it still has very good rotation. There's this much of a side bend, and a decent up crunch, with very little back extension. Coming along to the back, we have these two protruding pieces. This top piece is actually the cockpit for when it transforms, and it's able to hinge up and down. The bottom part as well can hinge up and down. Moving on to the arms, we have this much of an internal-external shoulder rotation. Full 360 rotation of the arm. This orange piece on the back of his shoulders could rotate. The shoulder pauldrons can also flip all the way up because of the transformation feature. And the arm can adduct this far. The arm could 360 near the elbow. Excellent elbow bend, revealing the clear GN cables. Forehand articulation, it could do a 360. And almost 90-degree wrist flexion and extension with a traditional ball joint thumb. Now coming down to the front skirt, they are on a ball joint and are able to move up and down, and they fall off very easily, which is quite annoying. Moving on to the back skirt, since it too is on a ball joint, it has some vertical movement, as well as some small horizontal movement. And when the back skirts are flipped up, you can see the beam saber handles attached to it, and they can be flipped out as well. Moving down to the leg, it is able to kick this high up, and it's going to be a little restricted because of that giant fin. For the back kick, it is able to go this far, and it's limited by the back skirts. For the rest of the lower articulation, I'm just going to remove the torso. First things first, perfect split, look at that. If his body was attached, he would be like, oh yeah! We have an almost full 360 rotation on the leg, fully extended leg, with an excellent knee bend. The movement on the knee also exposes these mechanical gimmicks, pretty cool to see. Additionally, you are able to unlock the fins of the knees by pulling them out, and this allows them to move up and down. Also, since we're here, I want to point out there's some cool verniers that could pop in and out on the legs. You just have to press on this tab on the top. Just a small, very cool gimmick. Moving down to the feet, the ankle armor can also move up and down. The ankle has a small side-to-side pivot and is unable to do a 360. Because of the design of the foot, the ankle's dorsiflexion is limited, but its extension is pretty good. This front foot armor piece can move up and down as well, and because this is a transformable kit, the toes can point down all the way, because it is on a hinge. And I gotta point out, the front part of the foot does fall off quite a bit. It's easier to reattach, but it's a little annoying. All in all, there's a very good amount of articulation for the Kyrios, and it's good to know that the kit's transformation feature doesn't compromise it. With the articulations out of the way, let's look at all the extras that comes with the kit. First things first, we got the action base adapter. Pretty generic, I chose to highlight this piece first because the Kyrios has to be flying. To attach it, you gotta remove the back skirt, revealing the track where you put the action base. Then reconnect the back skirt, and then peg them onto the base. Action base not included. Next up for extras, we have a pair of clenched fists, a pair of open fingers, I lost the other one, I don't know where it is, and a pair of holding hands. These are the ones you'll actually use, and all the hands are interchangeable. Moving on to weapons, we have these cool beam saber effect parts. They are identical to the ones on the Exia and Dynamis, and so they work the same way, just pluck out the beam saber handles, and then attach the beam right into the handle. Then finally equip the beam sabers. And like I said earlier, the Kyrios has to be on an action base, it just looks so much better. And though the beam sabers are simple, the Kyrios looks pretty cool posing with them. Next up we have the GN Beam Submachine Gun. Definitely a unique weapon, never seen one like this before. The color is pretty plain, but it has a nice amount of detail on it. The handle is also detachable, and can be used for another weapon later on. But being detachable makes it very easy for you to equip this, because you could just attach the handle first, and then clip on the rest of the gun. And though it's called a submachine gun, it's relatively big as a one-handed weapon, and I'm glad to say the Kyrios has no issues holding it. Also, I found the second handle, which will be used for this. We have two GN hand missile units. Like the submachine gun, really interesting design. They're pretty detailed, and they look great. Also, there are two ways of equipping them. Firstly, they're on this wrist-mounted adapter piece. I'm just going to remove the top part of the submachine gun, leaving the handle, which we will be using later. Next up, we just align this. I already put the decals, the pointing out is the front side, and we just slide it right in here. Attach the second handle onto the other arm, follow up with mounting the missiles onto the wrist, and there you have it, some forearm mounted missiles, using the two handles as targeting systems, like in the anime, and we're ready to blow up some buildings. Alternatively, you can actually remove the missile pods off of the forearm attachment, and put them onto the handles. For some cool looking dual missile pod shooting action, definitely not a bad look. Now finally for the last weapon or armament, we have the GN shield. A very long shield, and a very thin shield might I add. However, it's not a normal shield, it can extend, and oh, the shield arm thing fell off. A common occurrence, but easy fix. The arms on the GN shield consist of two joints, with a decent range of motion, and once the arms are open, you can see the GN shield needle. Yep, that's the name for it. At least that's what it says on the wiki. The arms actually act like a giant claw, which is able to extend. And from a side profile, you can see that the claws could tilt upwards. Overall, the GN shield has a very interesting design, and is quite unique. And to equip it, there's a hard attachment point located right here that will slot right into the back of the forearms, near the elbow. It's pretty easy to attach, however the GN shield is pretty heavy, so if you knock it over, it might just come off. So long as you don't shake it too much, the attachment is pretty solid. So whether you choose to display it as a shield or a claw, it will have no issue holding it, even at full arm extension. I'm happy to say that the arm in this position never drooped one bit. That's it for all the weapons, but there's still some more extras. Because it is a master grade, it does come with a Alleluia Haptism minifigure, and since it is a mobile suit from the 00 series, it comes with a GN drive. And for whatever reason, I'm not sure if it is my own kit, but it was extremely difficult to take out. It kept disassembling and I had to use a screwdriver to actually pull it out. So just keep that in mind if you're trying to put batteries into it or replace the batteries. This GN drive design is unique to this kit, and being there's only one part where the light comes out, and because I'm poor, I do not have batteries for this. Typically, the other GN drives could reveal light through the back, but because of this one's design, it's covered up. And that is all for the extras. The Kyrios comes with a lot of unique weapons, and it's pretty fun to mess around with the loadouts. The kit holds the weapons decently, but let's see how well they stand up to the shake test. The Kyrios performed much better than I thought it would, which is funny considering when I was just moving the kit normally, things would fall off all the time. The weapons falling off was totally expected, but at least the body's still very solid. Now we move on to sizing. Standing fully erect, the Kyrios is 9 inches, or 22.86 centimeters. Yeah, just keep in mind the filming angle might make it look a little off, but it's 9 inches. And to compare it to some other kits, here it is towering over the entry grade Arc 72. It's closer in stature Master Grade Arc 72, the Origin, high-end Master Model Zoids Jaeger, Figurized Standard Amplified Metal Garurumon, Haro, DK, Doraemon, and a chocolate. As for shelf presence, with that orange, the Kyrios is quite eye-catching, and here it is next to its boys, just missing the Virtue now. And because it is a master grade, it's gonna take up a lot of real estate. And that's it for its humanoid form. It is a transforming kit, so let's get to it. Alrighty, let's get started. Judging from the manual, it doesn't look that difficult. Firstly, we're gonna flip that fin down and extend the neck forward. We're gonna flip up the nose cone part of the jet, threading that fin right through this slot. I really like this design. It's a clean way to hide the head. And if you're wondering, unfortunately, the canopy can't open. However, these antennas on the side here can move out. Next up, we're going to reattach these missile adapters for the use of weapons later on. I'm not sure what this back part is called, but it is hollow over here and it's able to slot right onto the back skirt. For the next step, you rotate the arms backwards, ensuring that the elbows do flare out. And this is up to you, but I prefer to rotate the hands so the palms face inwards. Then just kind of compress the arms so it kind of looks like this weird deformed thing. For the next step, there are some tabs hidden away onto the shoulders that you're going to need to flip up, and they will be attaching to the slot over here on the nose cone. This step is very easy, and now you're kind of seeing a silhouette of a jet. Kinda, sorta, maybe. It looks like something at least. Now we rotate the legs, making the fins point outwards. Afterwards, we fold the feet, making the toes point down, and then we rotate the ankles. And dumb me, I forgot to film this part, but you're supposed to unhook the fins so then they could point out. Now you can attach the weapons and do whatever loadout you want. And one thing I really want to point out, the gun itself attaches fine, but the missile pod is very loose. At the start of filming, it wasn't this loose. However, because I kept playing around with it and removing it, I think it wore down the peg. I actually had to resort to using sticky tack to attach it. It's probably my own fault that they wore down, but just keep that in mind. And the final result should look like this. I think I did it right. It looks exactly like what I see on the manual, so not bad. Wasn't difficult at all. Also, before I move on, I forgot to put on the shield. Let's do that right now. You're gonna have to spread out the claw parts. Then you attach it to the arm normally. The opening for the claw allows the fin to actually pass right through it. And once everything's attached and lined up, there you go. The Kyrios in its jet form. Or flight form, however you want to call it. I'm not entirely sure, but it looks really good actually. Only main issue visually is that the shield attachment could have been in a better location. It looks really offset and kind of ruins the aerodynamics of the kit. I believe attaching the shield to the front or the bottom portion of the jet form would definitely make it look cleaner. Otherwise, I find no issues with the flight form. The colors look really good, it contrasts really well, the silhouette of it is very sleek, aside from the shield, and it does a good job hiding the robotic elements. And the transformation was very easy, nothing fell off, aside from the weapons. Now if you're wondering how tall or long this is, it's 13 inches or 33 centimeters. Yeah, it's gone pretty long. Here it is next to the entry grade Arc 72. I said the entry grade Arc 72. At this point, the Kyrios is 3 times the height. Here it is next to fellow Master Grade, RX-78-2, the Origin. High-end Master Model Zoids Jaeger, the figurized standard amplified Melgarumon, Haro DK, Doraemon, and a chocolate. Now for shelf presents, I don't actually have real estate or an empty shelf, and I don't want to move things out of the way, but it's really big, and it's bright orange, so it has some good shelf presents. Probably. So we come to the end of the video. What are my final thoughts? Should you buy this kit? If you want to complete the Gundam Meisters, you're going to have to get this kit. But if you're going to purchase it as a standalone kit, it definitely is still very good. Firstly, design is very sharp, even in flight form. Especially if you put in that extra work, do that panel lining, apply all the decals, it looks great. And as the Master Grade goes, I recommend it for slightly more experienced builders, though the build itself isn't too difficult because it is a transforming kit. If you don't build it properly, you might run into some difficulties. Also, did I mention this kit comes with a bunch of weapons? That's always a good plus. Both fun and easy to pose with. Everything's pretty solid, except, holding the weapons. Some things are really heavy, some things are loose. Mostly for the weapons, body's generally solid. And don't get me wrong, it has no issues holding any of the weapons or doing any of the poses, but if you're moving it around, something is bound to fall off. Also, the transformation is very easy. All in all, very good kit, I highly recommend it. Can't wait to finish the set with the Virtue. Oh wait, I have it. Just gotta build it now. Hey, thanks for watching my videos. I hope you like it. I enjoy making it. Let me know what you think. And also, big thanks to everyone who subscribed to my channel. 311 subscribers. Been doing this for over a year now, so I guess I'm doing something right. Honestly, I'm glad people enjoy the videos. It makes me really happy I could share my hobby and people like it. So, I'm just gonna keep making it. Stay tuned. I have more videos coming up. Thanks again for watching. Take care. Bye.